I'm so happy to be here and be moving with you. We're going to roll a ball under our feet. I'm going to use a racket ball. A tennis ball is another good option. It doesn't grip to the skin as well, but it definitely works. I would recommend starting with something a little bit softer, especially if you can't feel it and you're like, oh, I must need something harder to feel the sensations in my feet. If you're not feeling it, the chances are high that your muscles and your nerves don't have an optimal connection yet. So you want to start out with something softer and do it more often. That is the key, is to working out your feet regularly, to building your feet health. And just in case you're not familiar, we're going to focus on some different areas. This is the heel of your foot. We'll focus on that line right above the heel of your foot. You have your inner arch here, the center of your foot, outer stripe of the foot. This is the ball of the foot, the area below your toes. So let's start rolling. And you can do this entire sequence sitting or standing. I'm going to put the ball down underneath the ball of your right foot. And at first we're just going to work with pressure points. You're going to kind of let the ball sink in. You can work on your alignment skills, outer edges of your feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, hips back over heels. You can even rotate your thigh bones into neutral. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, go to my website and under the community menu, there's alignment skills. Learn those and they will help your body so much. All right, take that ball to the inner arch of your foot and just let it sink in there for a moment. Your side leg, the leg that's not rolling the ball, if you step it back, there's a little bit less pressure. If you step it equal with your foot, there's a little bit more pressure. So you can decide what works for you, and if standing is too much, again, do this in a chair. Take the ball to the outer edge of your foot so you can see it pop out the outer edge and just hang out there for a moment. If you find any spots that are painful, there might be discomfort, but if there's actual pain, go around that spot. There's already inflammation there. You don't want to irritate it, so just work around anything that is really uncomfortable or painful. Now take the ball up to the front of the heel, right at the front of the heel, and let it sink in there for a moment. All right, and then we'll roll the ball across the ball of our right foot, right below our toes. And try to go all the way to one side and all the way to the other. It's no big deal if the ball pops out because you're the only one there and you can just go get it and start over. Sometimes you can work with your toes hanging down over the ball. Sometimes you can lift your toes up so your foot is more straight, the way it would be when you're walking. And there are so many different ways to roll the ball under your foot. This is just one session. All right, from there, take the ball down to the front of your heel and roll side to side across the front of your heel. I've taken so many ball rolling workshops and trainings over the years, from yoga tune-up to the melt method to nutritious movement. Take your time. Okay, let's go to the base of the big toe. And so it's going up and down the inner arch of the foot. And we'll do stripes on each toe. You're just going up and down. And you can work on putting a little more pressure when you go from the base of the big toe to the heel and then lightly go back up. So you're encouraging blood flow to go back up your leg. And then go to your second toe. And we'll just do a couple stripes up and down there. And of course the stripes will overlap. Go over to your third toe. Your fourth toe. And last but not least, your fifth toe. And the pinky toe stripe, the one where the ball's hanging out the outer edge of the foot, is often the hardest to control. It makes sense when you learn more about the body, and we tend to have a weakness in our outer hip muscles. But just do the best you can. A little pressure on the way towards the heel and lightly back up to the pinky toe. All right, and then just roll that ball any way that feels comfortable under your foot. We'll be short and sweet. Consistency is key. So it's okay if your sessions are small. And you can, when you roll it any way, you can go up and down, you can go side to side, you can work at a diagonal. If you find sensitive areas that aren't painful, you can sink into them a little bit. Let's switch feet. So go over, and first we'll do our pressure points. Just sink in to the center ball of the foot. Checking out how all these areas feel, starting to connect your foot to your brain. And then go over to your inner arch. Let the ball sink in there. And doing this also helps you to see if one particular area of your foot is sensitive today. You could work a little bit more in that area, give a little bit more attention to that area, to the outer edge of the foot. Continuously working on your alignment skills, outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance apart, hips back over the heels. And then how about to the front of the heel, right? In that crease at the front of the heel. Maybe your toes can come down to the floor. All right, let's start rolling side to side across the ball of the foot. So especially when you first start doing this, it's nice to have a sequence to follow along with, but then it just becomes a matter of doing it more consistently. And my mentor talked about how, think of it like vacuuming, like you want to vacuum the bottom of your foot really well. You can do this with socks on. If you have anything going on in your feet that doesn't allow you to feel very well, just make sure you're in an area that's a safe space. Maybe you vacuumed right before, or you put down a mat. All right, go to the front of your heel and roll side to side across the front of your heel. All the way to one side, all the way to the other side. And if you've never done this before, just standing can start to get tiring, and stabilizing yourself on two legs. So that's where you would roll the ball sitting in a chair. I like the variation. I like both standing and sitting in a chair. Even though I've done this for so long, it's something different to roll the ball while sitting down. And then let's do our stripes up the inner arch for the big toe stripe. You have to put the ball somewhere where you'll do this. So right there on your carpet before you watch your show, your ball is there. Okay, I'm going to stand up and roll my foot for a minute on each foot. Underneath your computer desk, you can roll your ball while you're playing on the computer. And then go over to the second toe and up and down in the vertical stripe. What are we doing? We're separating the bones, which gives more space for the muscles to function. If you were walking outside with bare feet on natural surfaces, you would get a lot more variety of movement through the sole of your foot, and we're mimicking that in some ways in a gentler way. Okay, go over to the third stripe, up and down. I feel very fortunate that this is where I began my journey to creating much healthier, stronger feet. You want to adapt yourself slowly. And then go over to the fourth toe, a few stripes up and down there. And then go over to the fifth toe, that outer edge of the foot, and work to keep it on that straight, even though it's a little bit more challenging. And then just start to move the ball anywhere you'd like. If you noticed a particular area, maybe you really like the vertical stripes, or maybe horizontal, going side to side, a little bit more challenging sometimes. You could work vertically, or excuse me, diagonally is what I meant to say. Or you could roll the ball in circles underneath your foot. Just try not to miss any areas. It's easy to get stuck on rolling the middle, even though it feels really good, but make sure you get all those outer edges right below the toes, along the very inner arch, along the outer edge of the foot. Short but sweet, but very effective to build health in your whole body. The health of your body really starts in your feet. So keep rolling. Thank you for moving with me.